Actually, welcome to Quinta Cap with Mr. Quiz here and
Actually, Sam. Actually.
Sam Hawkins.
Actually.
Actually, Sam, how has your week been?
Actually, it's actually my week has actually been pretty okay. Actually,
I'm actually going to need you to roll your R's just a little more.
I can't actually
because you're making
actually,
me very
actually, I cannot actually roll my R's real good in this tone of voice. So actually, shut up.
I'm gonna put my actual.
Actually, stop
down.
talking. My dad can beat up your dad.
Actually, that's not even true. That's why. Actually, I'm faster than you.
Actually, I don't know my dad.
I'm actually faster than you are.
Actually, you're not.
Okay. I bet your dad doesn't let you drink Mountain Dew like my dad.
Actually, you can ask him if you can find him. Actually.
Oh, you don't have a dad.
Actually, I don't have one.
Actually, that's very sad. That making me happy.
Actually. Actually, that's very mean of you to say. Actually.
I know how.
Actually, apologize. Of course. Actually,
I'm actually not sorry for anything because that's actually how I feel. And honestly, if I feel that way, then I feel that way. Actually.
Okay. Actually, how has your week been? Actually. Actually.
Don't interrupt me. That's very rude.
Well, actually, how has your week been then? Actually, Quiz.
Actually, Sam, my actual week was pretty good. I got to go to work on Monday, and then actually I worked on Tuesday too actually, and today was actually a good day for me.
Actually, that makes me very upset.
Actually got a raise at work.
Actually, that's
real deal big people money.
Actually, not Monopoly money.
No. Actually, like the money with the president's face on. What the hell was that?
Actually, that was a bug. That was on your face. Actually,
that actually really made me angry. Stupid bug in my face. That actually made me mad. Now hit the karate move.
Actually, what the hell was that? Actually, what the freak was it? Actually,
don't freaking play with me.
Don't freaking.
That was my freaking call.
I'll call my mom. Actually, tell that bug to leave you alone, or we're gonna have to beat it up.
My hands are really sweaty.
Actually, it's really hot in here.
Actually, though, what you want to talk about?
Well, actually, I got question for you. Actually.
Well, ask a question.
Well, I was actually waiting to see if you knew if you was, heard me actually.
My nose was itching actually, and I actually had to itch it. What's funny?
No, you actually your face is really funny. Actually, you got a really.
You're stupid.
You actually have a big ass nose. Actually.
Quit the cap.
That was you pronunciated that very good for a baby. Actually.
It's actually because my mama she read to me and actually she been helping me with actually my reading.
Actually, you need to keep.
That was really cool.
Actually, was that cool for you?
That was really cool.
Actually, watch this.
That was pretty cool.
Actually.
That was
actually
cool.
Yours was pretty cool too. Actually.
I think if you want to be my friend, I'll be your friend.
Actually, if you'll be my friend, I'll be your friend.
What actually friends? I've never had one.
I don't. Actually.
Thank you.
I can't.
I think I'm I'm actually out.
I'm done. I gotta stop.
I'm not how nervous I was.
Why were you nervous?
That's okay. They actually are going to love an episode. All right, now what's your question, brother?
Where did this come from?
I want that
That boy.
actually.
Actually,
Oh,
actually, there you go.
Actually?
That's very mean of you. Actually.
got one in my microphone.
Actually, I do too.
You went kind of deep.
No. Yeah.
You went.
You don't listen to
Actually, I did.
You went rather deep. I kind of went to the side a little bit, but
Yeah, that definitely. I wonder how that sounds.
now you're just playing with it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop.
ASMR.
Actually, that's very inappropriate.
Okay. I got. We're animals. We gotta stop. We got distracted
we
by.
are actual children.
We actually. That was very fun. We got distracted. I don't know if you paid attention. We got distracted by a moth, a bug, and now a pin.
Actually, I feel like y'all should actually talk about
Something.
how we're actually underpaid doing everything for the world, actually.
Do you think? Wait, women or everybody?
Actually.
Okay. You think everybody's underpaid to do what they do?
I am actually.
I'll say this.
Okay, stop right there. Do
I
you
won't
think
say.
somebody that works with animals all day, vicious, non-vicious, small, big, making, I don't know, $10 an hour, do you think that's underpaid?
I think your pay should be based off of two things, right? How much you bringing in a quarter, so from every 3 months, how much you're profiting, and then
Mhm.
secondly, how many employees you have. So, for example, if I'm a company, a dog company or a company that houses animals, and on a 3 month to 3 month basis, at the end of every 3 months, my business is making me an average of $400,000, right? No, let's do an average of $300,000 to make it easier. So that's $100,000 a month that you're making, right? Say you have 5 employees, and you're bringing home. Let's say you have 10. I think each employee should get paid a certain percentage of that. I think we should stop on our hourly wages and do something kind of like sourly.
Sourly?
Sourly?
Sourly.
Something like salary where like again that business is paying a percentage to their employees. That way that employees know no matter what happens, sick days or no sick days, that gets rid of PTO because I'm gonna pay you the same.
Either way.
Either way you're gonna make the same amount.
So if you don't work a full 40 hours that week, or if you
Don't,
work...
Don't.
Okay, I don't know what I was about to say, but I was about to say something that was going to piss her off, so I'm not going to say it.
It's a smart choice.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I think if your business is bringing home more than $1 million in a year, and you have
So if you make
less
it...
than 1,000
Okay,
employees,
well, actually, how about this? If you are outside with a dog all day in 145-degree weather and you have to break up a dog fight, actually, and you got to put yourself in front of the dog, actually, and you get kicked in the stomach, how much did you get paid for that, actually?
I think it should be again based off of how much that the company's making, right? So if I'm working for a business that is not profiting, they're simply not going to be able to pay me more money, no matter what I'm doing for that company.
They're profiting enough.
If this company is profiting and they're in the green every 3 months, and then at the end of the year still in the green, I do think that they should have some type of portion where they settle, where they go, hey, we pay all of our employees 10% profit. And so that's if they make $1 million and they got 10 employees, my math might not come out how I want it to. But if they make $1 million and they got 10 employees, That's too much dang money. So say they have that's $100,000 a year.
Well, you're percentaging and stuff.
So a good percentage.
So what you're saying is, if to make it real simple, if you make $100,000 a month and you're paying people monthly, and you have one employee, that employee is getting probably $25,000 a month or $50,000.
I think that employee, if say you have $100,000 you're making a month, one employee, that employee should get out of that 100,000 because
like 10%, 25%.
Yeah, because so
that's $10,000 a month.
I've ran profits and loss, brother. So I know, like, at the end of the month, that number you get, that's after bills.
So you think
that's after rent, utilities, all of that.
So you think it should be more of a salary kind of thing?
Yes.
But
yes.
Let me rebuttal that for you. Say it's salary, right? Say it's at a dog place. You work salary, so you make every month you make $2,000,
right?
$4,000, whatever.
Make it even, yeah.
But that's for a 40-hour week.
Correct.
What if there's overtime needed? Because salary doesn't make overtime. It's strictly 40
hours. That's where the
hours.
Percentage comes in. I think they should go, hey, in the interview process, you're going to work anywhere from 30 hours to 50 hours.
And then pay you between...
We're going to pay you 40. So sometimes you might work 30 and get paid 40. Sometimes you might work 50 and get paid 40.
So what I'm hearing...
Yes.
You need to go on strike.
Yes.
That's all I'm hearing.
If there is someone who has to deal with dogs, especially vicious dogs, I think at least, if we're talking just off the rip, 13 an hour. At the very least.
Well,
13 an hour.
I think... Because I know the minimum wage is still $7.25,
which is absurd.
Which is crazy, but the minimum wage is still $7.25.
Actually, McDonald's doesn't make 4 cents.
That's what I was about to say. Is McDonald's is a job, so I'm not bad. I worked fast food.
Right.
But if you don't risk your life working at a fast food restaurant, unless you're stupid and fall into the grease or something,
that's a startup job.
Yeah. So if you can make... And I know McDonald's is a huge business, but they also pay hundreds of thousands of people across the world. So I think if McDonald's can pay between 14... Because a McDonald's manager makes $100,000 a year or more. That's a lot of money. But working at McDonald's, you can make $14 to $20 an hour. So I think if there's a dog business that doesn't have as many employees, not as many locations, not as many people to pay, but making a quarter of that, I think they can pay.
Agreed.
Probably like you said, at least 13, maybe 15 an hour.
Yeah. Agreed.
Minimum.
Agreed. I think minimum wage
and
should
keep
be around
it
$10, $11.
And keep it where if there's part-time people, that's $10 an hour, because you don't go in part-time expecting to make the same as a full-time employee.
Right.
And if you do, there's something not
we
right.
We learned that today as well.
Yeah. There's not. That's not something
like
it would. Yeah, it wouldn't be right if you worked 20 hours a week and made $15 an hour, and I worked 50 hours a week and I made $15 an hour. That's a problem. There's something not adding up.
I agree.
At that point, I'm part-time or I need more money.
Correct.
So, you know what you need? What's a good rhyme for them to say holding up the signs? If it's a dog place for strike. Now, nobody's going on strike if anybody listens to this. Nobody's actually going on strike. This is all hypothetical. Like a
bite the man
with a pan. No, what's a dog wash kind of thing, or like that rhymes with... What's a dog thing that rhymes with money?
Money?
Yeah, well, not money rhymes with money, yes, but...
Oh, that's not money.
Yeah.
Corgi? No, it doesn't.
Dog say bar.
Like, wash doesn't rhyme with cash. So, like, what's something... Like, no more wash until more...
No more
bark until more...
No.
Money.
No more bark until we see money spark. No.
That doesn't roll off the tongue, though. It was good, but it doesn't roll off the tongue. You got to be able to.
No more daycare unless you want to
Pay care.
pay care.
No
Ah.
more daycare unless
Unless
more
more
pay
pay
care. No more daycare
Unless
unless
more
more pay care.
Well,
There's
where's
your,
the signs?
we need to start writing these up now. That's always weird to me. People going on strike, like they stand outside of their office, so they're still going to work bright and early in the morning, instead of just not showing up. To it's like, if you don't pay me, I'm not coming to work.
Right. Well, I'm gonna come to work.
But I'm gonna wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, get ready for work, come down there with a sign, and stand outside when it's 100 degrees
and not get paid.
and not get paid.
And watch employees come in
And
taking my spot.
yeah.
Amazon did that.
Well, Amazon is a business where they don't play. If you're not there to work for less than minimum wage for more than 60 hours a week, you ain't fit to do it.
Piss off.
If you can't work in terrible conditions and hate your life,
And non-AC.
no
trucks,
AC, they took the doors off for you. I don't know what else you want me to do.
That's a breeze. I agree.
That what's it called?
That
Like Highway 55 air or
Highway 55 is a restaurant.
I know it's actually a fast food place, but no, it's like when your air doesn't work, you've got that 55, like 55, 255 air, because you got both windows down, going 55 miles an hour. That's your
I've
air.
never heard that.
You've never heard that?
I've never heard 255
That's probably
air.
a black thing, and that was terrible.
Where was it?
That was
Was
awful.
From you, I know.
Yeah, I should.
know.
I should. I'm gonna cut that out. I should not have said
Racial
that.
themes,
I
Sam.
should-
Racial themes.
Well, I was trying to say it because you're black and I'm white, so I was like,
What the hell?
what?
I gotta go.
No, I got a question for you.
I have a possible answer.
Do you think a long ancient civilizations, like a long time ago, not like 1825,
Like the Egyptians.
yes, like a long time ago, do you think they had more technology than we do now? And it might have got lost or hidden?
I want to say no. I'm more leaning towards, I believe the tools that they used were biodegradable. And after said tools were used, and after a certain amount of time, the tools corroded or eroded away.
Another question.
Mhm.
Tools biodegradable, right?
Right.
Can you do me a favor, since you're in here? Actually,
I don't think.
I don't think she's going to.
She is listening.
Will you look something up for me?
Yeah.
Will you look up how much a brick weighs on the pyramids? A single brick? Because this is my
I'm gonna
hold
debunk
on.
it, but
Okay.
continue.
That's why I'm asking you. I want to hear what you think. I'm not saying it's aliens, or am I?
Okay, y'all ready?
Yes.
Are y'all gonna guess?
I think it's
10 ton.
60 ton.
Just final answer?
Yes.
10 ton.
60.
2.5 tons.
Okay.
Oh, wow,
So
that's way off.
2.5 tons.
But
Look
they
up something
are,
else.
They are between 25 and 80 tons each for the largest granite blocks located above the King's Chamber.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So now I don't want to say this wrong. How much is a ton?
Yeah, what's the average
Like
pound
I
weight?
think it's 1,000 pounds. Is
How
it?
much is a
No,
ton?
no.
think
Yeah.
it's
How much is a
10,000
ton?
pounds.
2,000
2,000
tons.
pounds. So that's so
4,000.
so. But if it's an average of the bigger ones being, because it doesn't matter. They stacked all of them. So even the smallest ones, sure, you can find enough people to carry 4,000 pounds
Right.
for 2.5 or 4,500
Right.
tons, 4,500 pounds. But the ones that are 20 tons, that's like 40
So you're talking
to 80,000 pounds.
You're talking 100,000 pounds.
Yeah.
For the 25 pound. For the
Now-
25 ton ones.
That's a lot of weight for somebody to pull,
Right.
especially back then.
Right.
because there wasn't anything to. Because obviously bodybuilders now pull airplanes and
Right.
all these things, but nobody did that. Especially not people in Egypt. They were slaves, so they were malnourished and real skinny. So what I'm asking is, do you think they had some sort of
Outside
help with that? Not specifically aliens. I know there's
about
talks of there was possibly aliens, but do you think they had more high-tech tools than what? Because I don't care what you say, there's nobody way back then, especially as a slave, pulling 100,000 pounds, because they could probably barely walk with how little they ate, because nobody cared about them. They were work slaves. That's all they were.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, just whenever. It's not like we're on air or anything.
I think they used a water technique, and according to historical records and compared to other ancient civilizations, the Egyptians treated their slaves very well.
Okay, another question.
For slaves. Well, hold on.
No. We're gonna bypass all that.
Pull a brick.
Okay.
50 slaves.
100,000 pounds. Not only to pull a brick, but you're going up.
I think they did that another way. I think they made a rough estimate of what
Because
they wanted.
you've seen how tall those things were. So that's like, now I could be wrong, but that's like half a mile up, or like a mile
Right.
to go up, carrying 100,000 pounds, pulling you down.
So inside of pyramids are chambers that are kind of in the side that lead down to the king's tomb. I think they use that for 2 reasons.
For bricks,
Yes, I think
they're
they
not that big
filled-
though.
Well, that
For
we know
bricks
of.
though. What do you
That
mean?
we
There's
know
pictures.
of. But once it's built, it's not like
Oh,
that
then
big.
they fill it in.
Now, mind you, the bricks on the the granite that's on the inside doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to
But
be
pharaohs,
perfect square
that's
by
where
square.
pharaohs are like buried. That's where like kings are buried.
Now, I'm talking the inside bricks.
That's
I
what
think
that's what I'm saying. They're buried in there. They wanted it to be perfect, and that's
Yes.
why the pyramids are at, dare I
think
say,
inside the tomb,
perfect.
And the outside of it is rather slick that they did their part there.
Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. But can you tell me, because this right here would have to be a very huge, and I mean astronomical coincidence.
Right.
Why is the location of it not in Egypt, but like longitude and latitude? Why is it
Right.
the exact same as the speed of light?
I think at the same time they weren't dumb.
But they don't. If they knew the speed of light, that would mean they needed more technology, because you can't look at light and say, "Oh, that's how fast that goes."
Because you can make theories and you can do mathematical equations to find that.
But math like that wasn't back there unless they were more evolved
I think
than
they
what
were
we think they
advanced.
were. And if they were that advanced to know that, that means they would have more advanced technology. Because if they knew the math for the speed of light and they could do the math for it, they could line these pyramids up to where not only are they stacked perfectly and at an angle perfectly, but that angle lines up perfectly to the speed of light.
I disagree.
So,
Think
but
about
that
Henry
would,
Ford.
that would be a huge coincidence.
Think about Henry Ford.
But no, see, you're coming too close. That's what I'm saying. Not back then, because back then Henry Ford was a genius because he built a car.
So are the Egyptians.
Yes, but Henry Ford also had the help. There was math. Math had been done, so he could use that math. I'm saying way back then when there was.
I've done a little bit of research here. So math was heavily, like the study of mathematics, began heavily in the 6th century.
Right. What kind of
BC,
math?
BC. You're talking mathematics.
But what kind of math? Not the math for the speed of light.
Demonstrative discipline is what they call it.
Because here's the thing. You can't know the speed of light until you get this. Like, okay. They couldn't have had math like that because they didn't even know anything other than what was in their surrounding area. They didn't know there was more beyond, other than there's like gods, like Ra, and
Right.
they knew
Right.
that was a thing. Like that they knew of that, but they never had a reason, if you get what I'm saying, to advance themselves in mathematics. Had no reason to it because they were on a process. Because they looked at, they were like, if the sun god Ra wants us, if he wants it like this, he'll put it like this in the sky. If whatever their other gods are, if they want it, they'll put it like this on the land or in the water. They never had a reason for math. They were always focused on, like, if you go back to the what's it called?
Point in time.
No,
Timeline?
I guess the point in time, but not the
There?
not the hieroglyphs, but the drawings that they made.
The hieroglyphs.
Is that drawings? I thought that was just words.
Same thing.
Okay. Well, not the like the words they made, but just the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't worried about what, some of them they were, because that's another thing, but some of them it was them having questions but looking up for it. They weren't like, okay, this is a problem, what if we divided it by this and blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So why would they need a reason to mathematically need the speed of light? Because, like, I don't know who found the speed of light, but like people like Einstein
Mm-hmm.
did that. He made the theory of relativity.
Right. Equals MC squared.
Yeah, because math was a
But
thing.
for what purpose?
Space, really.
How do they know they didn't have the same
A
purpose?
lot of math. Well, why would they be looking into space? Unless
Why not?
Aliens.
Why not look into space?
Why would they, though?
Beautiful. There's skies. There's
yes,
constellations.
it's very beautiful. But what was more beautiful to Egyptians? Looking
Gold.
up at stars, gold, or their massive
I don't
sphinx?
I think you're taking out the account of human evolution, right?
Okay.
Us as humans always want to be better. That's why we have iPhones, laptops, faster cars, better houses, air conditioner. We always
Right.
want the need to not only improve our living situations, but improve our architecture. We started out with architecture,
Okay, so another question.
right?
Sure, maybe they were mathematically advanced before we were, and it just kind of got lost in time.
I just don't think they were as far into it as we were.
Can you look something up for me?
No.
No.
Gotcha, go ahead.
Will you look something up for me? When was the speed of light found? Right, but I'm comfortable. Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
When was the speed?
I wanted to search.
When was the speed
The
of
speed of light
light?
was first measured in 1976 by
1976.
Danish astronomer Ole Romer.
Right. So 1976. It's not that long ago. So, if they were mathematically advanced enough to find the speed of light, why? First off, why were they? Considering we, as today's society, only know of us knowing the speed of light since 1976. Why? What? Maybe I'm wrong. What?
The ancient Egyptians did not measure the speed of light. There is little to no historical evidence to suggest that they had the technology or knowledge to do so. The idea that they might have encoded the speed of light in the Great Pyramid's dimensions is considered a fringe theory with no credible
Right, it's-
scientific basis.
Yes, it's a theory, but that's why I'm asking you. The whole thing's a theory. Why? Like, I was asking you, do you think ancient civilizations were more advanced than what they say or what we think?
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I was saying
Yes.
it would have to be a tremendous coincidence that they were able to just randomly, one random day, build that perfectly aligned at the speed of light. It's just
But I don't
just
think
too
it's
big of a
perfectly aligned
coincidence.
to the speed of light.
It is though.
I don't think it is.
It is.
That
has
would
been,
be a
that-
scientific basis.
That has been proven though. There's just no proof that they purposely did it. There's no proof that they studied it. There's no proof that they found the speed. Like that's what that is. But it has been shown that those are at the exact measurements of the speed of light.
So very close. The speed of light is 299,792.
You don't have to you don't have to say the whole number.
Okay, sorry. The decimal degrees is 299792458 north, right? This is most likely a coincidence and not deliberately designed by the ancient Egyptians. I believe when they went to go put their pyramids, the places that they chose were A, wide open areas at the time, and B, was under a constellation that they felt as of importance because they were big on their different type of gods that they had during that time.
It's too big of a coincidence though. That's about okay. Here's a more
So
recent.
JFK's assassination.
Here's a more that's
9/11.
That is
O.J. Simpson.
all three of those inside jobs. Every single one of them. Glove didn't fit, by the way.
It's because it was his brother's glove and he was covering up the murder for his brother.
It was because
I think his brother murdered him.
it was because his lawyer told him to stop taking his diabetic medicine so his hands would swell up.
And blood shrinks leather as well.
Well, that's not what we're talking about. Neither here nor there. That's a different one. That's going in with.
Well, that's not going to be able to be posted to TikTok. So I'm going to let that
No,
happen.
it is not. Just like other things, but it's about as big of a coincidence as NASA owning a part of the Grand Canyon.
Okay. Let me do this.
Well,
Let's see.
look up if they do. I read somewhere that they did, but I want to see if you see that too. I don't want to get shot.
Holy moly! So you're talking back. I'm about to research that question. So the Egyptians were around at about anywhere from 1,000 to 1,800 BC.
Long ago, long time ago.
The Great Flood. If you use carbon dating shales found along the shoreline, it dates it back to around 5,000 BC. If you go off biblical standpoint, the Great Flood happened about 1,656 years after Adam was created, so about 2348 BC. So if my math is mathing, you only have about 500 years in between Egyptians and the pyramids being built
And the Great Flood.
A lot of things were lost in the Great Flood.
A lot of things were lost. Well, see, there's a
What was your question though?
I think. Hold on.
Never mind, I got it.
I think it's the Egyptians. Yes, it is the Egyptians. There's a bunch of theories about it, but there's a certain year where there's documentation from the Egyptians up to, I'm just going to say a random year, this is not proven, but up to, say, 500 BC, and then there's this big gap of stuff missing, and then it starts over, and then there's documentation. So there's a big gap missing where they think the pyramids would have been built in between with how old it is. And with how old they think it is and the documentation of it, there's missing. It's just not there. It was like Egypt didn't even exist in that time. I think it was Egypt. I want to say it was Egypt.
They were... It's even crazier. They expected that they were built around 2630 or 2610 BCE. That's the pyramid of Dosers. Pyramid of Giza was about 2700 to 2500 BC, and then you have the Giza pyramids again, 2589 to 2504 BC, and then the last pyramid built for a pharaoh was around 3,500 years ago.
So you
and no,
listen.
NASA doesn't own part of the Grand
Okay, so that was just bullshit that I was listening to or read, so that's fine, whatever. But so you listen to that podcast that I sent you.
I did. The Anunnaki?
Yeah, what not specifically the Anunnaki, because that's a thing on its own. with
For sure.
with them being from a said planet, a random planet, which NASA has possibly they think they might see where this planet's at because there's a gravitational pull, whatever, yada yada. So planet,
Liberia?
they say there's more of a chance of it existing than there is it not.
Right.
So that's a whole thing differently. But the tablets itself of there being like scuba gear and just things that we are just now, I say just now, but within the past few 100 years now, us making, like the wheel was on there. The wheel wasn't invented that long ago.
Right.
Maybe 100 years, few hundred years. So with there being tablets that date back to that long ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, what do you think about that? Like, because that would mean once they get a wheel, then they're like, oh, this rolls. What if we get more of them? Oh, this one's not even, so if we get 4, oh, wow, we have a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just progressively, that's how we started, it just progressively gets more and more.
I think it goes back to, again, the human design, right? So we're talking Egyptian times. There's piss all to do, right? There's no bowling alleys, no musical theaters, no YouTube, no TikTok, right? There's not really much to do. So I think if you gave me a tablet and I started thinking about things that would be cool, right? Scuba gear. I'm going to draw in a guy. I don't know how to make it, but I can think it. It's going to be something needs to be on his back. Somebody's going to have to get air to be underwater because I'm not dumb. I know that, right? So I'm going to put something on his back that's got air in it. He's going to need something for his eyes because he can't see underwater. So let me draw some goggles on him real quick. I don't know they're goggles. And then we get these tablets and we go, dang, these Egyptians were smart. These Egyptians were doodling.
Okay.
And we said, oh, there's a wheel. We made a wheel.
But
scuba gear.
Here's the thing. So with that, now this isn't exactly the same, but with that, say here recently, so we're taking that where they were just doodling.
Right.
Here recently, we're past 100 years, we figured out a black hole exists.
Right.
Because why? Well, we know there's something holding us together. It's not just that if we're orbiting the sun, what is the sun orbiting?
Right.
If, this and that, they're just messing around with math. Like, could this mathematically be possible? Can there be something that pulls us in? Now, I don't know how they found the black hole, but I assume it's something like that.
Right.
So, with that being said, them finding out about black holes led to them finding out about, oh, well, this black hole is right here, so that means this. It leads to other things. If this, what happens if this black hole explodes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we're dead.
Right.
So with that being said, if the Sumerians are just doodling with a wheel, what stopped one dude from being like, well, piss on y'all, I can just make it?
I don't know how.
They find out. We didn't know how to do anything. Just
like
the first car. The first car. Okay, the first car. Somebody made a wagon. Right? And he was like, what if we do that where we don't have to use horses? He didn't know what he was doing.
He didn't.
He just started throwing shit at it. Just started throwing stuff at it. It didn't work. Move on to the next thing. It didn't work. Oh, what is this? It works. Mm-hmm. So what's stopping somebody from that long ago? Like, oh, what'd you just draw right there? And him being like, oh, I don't know, just this round thing that we could sit on or push around. Starts out as them just playing with it. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, well, here's this thing, we can roll it. Mm-hmm. And then 2 kids that are being stupid, they're like, oh, well, we found out how to get 2 of them, let's put a stick on it and roll on it. And then it progressively, what's stopping from, if we do it now, what's stopping, because they're still humans.
I think 2 things. First one being the Great Flood, but stopping it during that time. I want to throw a little analogy your way. Time travel is real.
Time travel is very real. Past. We can. Not to the future, though.
I go, hey, Sam, you're going to travel back to 1783. I need you to tell people and get invented television. And you go, but I don't. And bam, you're in 1786. And now you're walking around and you're telling people, hey, I'm about to invent something that's a screen and it's going to project to you different types of things. Well, I call them TV shows, and we're going to have people that are going to act on it, and one day it's going to be in color, and you're going to be able to watch all different types of stuff. And they're going to go, okay, how do we make it? And you go, well, we a screen, you need a box,
Need something.
you need electricity. Well, what the piss is that? Well, it's stuff. It's on a pole and it.
So I
does
don't know how to
energy.
make it. It's me trying to explain how to do something
Same
that I
thing,
don't know
right?
how to do.
What is this circle you've drawn with a hole in it? I don't know. Well, it kind of looks like something we can use. How do we make it? Well, you make a circle and you. Well, we can't.
So what's
I don't know
stopping?
how to
What?
do
But
that.
what's stopping them from trying it? Because okay,
Not
I'll
needing
say
it.
I'll say in every. Well, we didn't need cars.
Think about seatbelts.
We didn't need cars.
When they first added in seatbelts to cars and they went around asking people were pissed about
Just
that.
like we didn't need like we need gravity, but we didn't need to know about gravity.
How so?
Everybody was living their normal lives. One day, this dude got hit in the head with an apple, and he said, "Oh my God,
I
that
wanna
thing
know
just
about
fell and
gravity."
hit me in my head."
That is true.
Why? It was just interesting. So then he kept on.
So what if the wheel was not interesting during that time? What if during that
But
time
what
they
I'm-
had no interest?
But what I'm
in those
saying
things?
is, now I say timeline, take it with a grain of salt, not alternate. Timelines in our world as it is now. So long ago, 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago, because there was, it's a different timeline. If you
Right.
brought somebody from 1800s, they come here, they might have a stroke.
They're gonna freak out
They'd kill you, and
Quicker
then
in a hurry.
look at me and call me a traitor
and kill you as well.
and kill me. So, timeline perspective. When he found gravity, nobody else cared
Correct.
except him.
Correct.
With the wheel, or with the light bulb, nobody cared. They were like, "Well, we've always lived like this, so what's
They
the
thought
problem?"
electricity was
And
whatever.
he figures it out. He's the only one that cares about it. The phone. Well, actually, the phone's bad. Never mind. There's multiple people. Just whatever. That's a different
I
thing.
think it comes down
But
to not.
at the wheel, what I'm saying is, if we're going off, let's say percentages, 100% of the time in every few hundred years where something big is invented, there's always at least one person who's going to throw his entire life at this because he's like, that's cool, why is it like this, what could we do with it? There's always going to be at least one person.
I think you're taking out of the account of pharaohs and the control they had over their nations, right? I can go to my pharaoh and say, "Pharaoh, look at this," and he goes, "What the piss do I need that for?
But,
I
okay.
got 3,000 men that can move anything I got."
But
But it's a wheel. It'll make it easier for you. I don't want to. I don't. I'm not doing it. I have
but
3,000 men.
okay,
moving for me.
let me hit you with a rebuttal.
Okay.
Instead of saying this is easier for you, tell him we could use this to carry more gold. Throw something on top of it. He figures out how to make it, and he's like, "Well, I can put a space in between them, Mr. Pharaoh. So we could throw a big old piece of wood, and this crate can carry more gold than all 100 of your men."
Well, what about my
Plus,
thieves?
you're
Who are
100
gonna come
men.
in and steal it off of the cart whenever
You've got
try
a
to
you got
transfer
you
it
got
to
1,000 men that's going to protect it.
me? But those 1,000 men need to work for me and build my castles, my pyramids,
And how are you going to build
and
that
my
castle?
Gold.
With gold.
Right. Now I'm
Right.
gonna Get the
The
gold.
more gold you have,
You know how lucrative gold was in that
the
day.
more and the
Lucrative.
the more gold you have, the more work they'll do.
Slaves didn't work for gold.
Sir, I just
They
invented.
worked for nothing.
Sir, I just invented something for you. If you don't take it, I really think you're missing an opportunity.
Sure. What is it?
It's a wheel.
The piss is a wheel.
It's a circle,
Okay.
and if you put a stick in between two of them, and then you make another set, right? Or stay with me, Mr. Pharaoh. Right?
Okay.
Don't send me off to the
1 second, guards.
right. You get 4 of them.
Okay.
You put a stick between each of them.
Okay.
Right. Now you're gonna need something to keep it sturdy. Right.
Okay.
Right.
1 second.
You put a stick in between it.
Okay.
Right. You get a really big crate. Right.
Losing me.
No. A really 20-foot wide crate, 50-foot wide crate,
We use cubics, but continue.
50 cubic meters.
That's freaking large. But continue.
Exactly, 50 cubic meters. You can have 8 wheels. 2.
Like an 18-wheeler?
What is that?
That's what you just described.
An
It's some-
18-wheeler?
18 wheels. It's a wheeler. Sounds like a cool name for me. 18
We
wheeler.
have an 18-wheeler. That's exactly what I'm saying.
What do
An
I need it?
18-wheeler. What?
Why do I need it?
You can carry tons of gold in it.
I have no need to carry tons of gold
Why?
in a crate. Again, have 3,000 men
Mhm.
who every day go out and mine gold for me.
On average, Mr. Pharaoh, sir, if you don't mind me asking.
Easy now.
Chris, if you don't mind.
I do. But continue.
Okay, Mr. Pharaoh, I'm sorry. How, on average, how much gold do your men carry?
That's a good question. I don't know because I'm the pharaoh. I don't really care. As long as
Okay,
the gold gets to me.
who makes sure you have the gold that you have? Who tells
My
you?
squire right here.
Mr. Squire.
Yes.
On average, how much gold does Mr. Pharaoh's men carry?
Depending on the person, it's anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds of gold.
Okay, Mr. Pharaoh, you heard him. 10 to 20 pounds of gold
Okay.
per person.
Right.
So, 30,000
Mm-hmm.
around average
Mhm.
being brought to you on a daily basis.
Right.
What if I told you
Right.
you could have 100,000 pounds, 200,000 pounds?
What do I do with my 3,000 men?
You make them carry it.
That's
You make
they're
them,
already doing
but
that.
you make them pull it, because you got to have somebody to pull it. It's going to be heavy,
Okay.
and the ones that aren't pulling it,
Make it happen.
they guard it.
So what about this other drawing? These things on the eyes.
Sir,
What's on
sir,
the back?
sir, that was Phil. I don't.
Send Phil in. I'm done with you.
You see how that went? You see how I convinced
I'm
you?
still in it, sir.
Oh,
I'm gonna need you to either get out of my castle or bring Phil in. One of the two.
no, I can explain.
Off with his head.
There you go. You're dead.
You're dead. Never in bed.
But you see how I convinced you?
But I'm not a real pharaoh. You would have convinced me
But
a pharaoh.
but if that's how the pharaoh was, we don't know. We never seen a pharaoh.
We've seen.
Have you talked to one? No.
I do. I talk to the king of the universe all the time. My God.
I meant King
No,
Tut. Did
not
you talk to
like it.
King Tut, the boy king?
I didn't.
Okay. So how do you know that they were as strict as they were? How do you know that they weren't?
Because they were.
But okay. Okay, so pharaohs were kings of said place, right? The more gold you had, the more respected you were by surrounding, because they weren't
Right.
they wanted your gold. So if somebody, some random ass person in your kingdom comes up to you and says, "Hey, I know how to carry quadruple," not that because they wouldn't know what that meant, but if I know how to carry a ton more than what your men can carry, back and forth more times than what they can go back and forth, and the kingdoms will respect you more, why wouldn't he be like, okay, get it done?
I think it was more than just about gold. Say the box you have.
But they were
I have
literally,
my 3,000 men drag my box of gold to me.
but they were buried with their gold because it was
Correct.
so important to them. So if
very
somebody,
special.
if somebody comes up to them and tells them that they can almost quadruple the amount of gold that they could bring to them, then there's
So how
no
do you know
reason
they
they
weren't
would
low
say
on
no.
resources like granite and rock?
Well, it would take time to make.
Right, because you got to make 4 of them. That's one.
It would take time to make.
I'm
Yes.
a pharaoh. I want 30.
Okay, it would take time to
That's
make.
60
and
wheels.
You think the pyramids were done in a day? Rome wasn't built in a day. What do you?
That's 120 wheels.
So why wouldn't he be like, well, get it done as soon as you can? Well, go get it
Because
done.
I have
Get
a
all
pyramid
the.
I want to build.
Get
And I don't
all
wanna
the people-
freaking build no
this-
freaking
This isn't
wagons,
but
as
you're
you
not-
call them.
but-
Have
but-
I already killed you?
I come back to life,
Are you
sir.
Phil?
You don't understand. I'm not from this world. You can't kill me. You're petty gold. Actually, I'm gonna need you to stand up.
The Anunnaki is wild, and you need to do more research
I
besides
pulled out a ray gun.
past Egyptians, because the Anunnaki start to become.
Well, Sumerians and Egyptians are different.
It becomes into the spiritual realms.
Sumerians
point.
and Egyptians are different.
Right.
These are the Sumerians I'm talking about, not Egyptians. So what we just went on was absolutely stupid. Because the Sumerians and Egyptians were. But the Anunnaki, there's no like actual. There's a lot, and it's very.
Evidence, 'cause
It's
didn't happen.
it's very weird. Well, there's tablets of it, so there was something like that. Now, I'm not saying it's
There were,
aliens.
there were doodles.
I'm not saying it's that was documentation. That wasn't doodles.
How do you know the documentation? Do you know
Why-
where the tablets come from and who engraved the
No,
tablets?
no. But what I'm saying is, those were put there because that was what they were. It's like the Egyptians. Why the Egyptians document what they were going through and stuff? Just because.
For the next generations.
Why wouldn't the Sumerians? When
Next
when their kids get older, they're like, these are the tablets from your great grandfather. This is what they seen when whoever this was, they called them the Anunnaki or whatever they called them.
Mm-hmm.
Then, because I don't know if they were called the Anunnaki. Nobody knows. But why wouldn't they be like, these people came down and blessed us with this stuff? This is who our saviors are now.
Because it didn't happen. That's why they didn't do it. 'Cause it didn't happen.
You know what is crazy though?
What's that?
A lot of the tablets, which is very weird, because a lot of the because those tablets were dated back to that time.
Right.
A lot of those tablets line up with a lot of things. It's very weird.
What are some things to line up with?
Well, the flood was one of them, which is crazy, because it's on a tablet. One stayed. Now, these tablets are in the museum in Britain, because England steals everything and puts it in a museum and claims it as their own.
You know what's even crazier?
It's actually not bad. Hey, is that in total? Like, for you to go to college in total? It's $800 for... Wait, what degree would you have? Is $800 for an associate's degree bad?
Hell no!
That's good. Keep that up so
Some
we
people
can
pay
pay
$800
that.
for GEDs.
Because the monthly would be $900. How is that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Hold on, look into that.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's
a scam.
Something's not right. It might not be a scam. It
No,
might just.
this one's actually like, it's Penn Foster.
But.
So Moses's time,
Mm-hmm.
he lived.
A month.
Yeah, but paying it in full, you get to keep $200.
That's not bad.
That isn't bad at all.
That's why it's $9.99 and that was what
That's not bad.
Not at all. So Moses is dated back to around 1400 BCE, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you remember earlier, the Egyptians were around, and I would assume the Samaritans as well, were around 1800 BCE to 1000 BCE, right? So now you have Moses who is living in the times of said Egyptians, right? So now you have the Bible brought in, and it's lining up perfect to said time frame.
It is. So, another question. On these exact same tablets where they're talking about the really tall people that are there,
Nephilim.
why are they putting airplanes on it? Because you wouldn't want to doodle on documentation.
Again, to us who have invented airplanes, they drew an airplane. To them, might not have been that.
Okay,
Because my R's don't look like your R's,
they do.
but they're my threes don't look like your
They
threes.
do.
My basketballs don't look like your basketballs.
Yeah, they do.
I ain't talking about the ones you bounce.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
but
There's a difference.
it's weird because in one of the pictures, it looked like. Now you could be reading too much into it, but it looked like there was something that was flying because there was little people. Then there was the one really tall one. Then there was something that looked like it was flying with little heads in it,
Right.
taking off.
I've seen said photo.
So, why? Why would they put something like that in documentation? Doodling, whatever. You can't amount that to nothing. They're just messing around.
So who drew the tablets?
Well, I can't tell you that. A person.
So how do we know said person wasn't crazy, a kid, or had a really big imagination? How do we know? Before we make the decider and go, wow, that is a spaceship, someone intelligent made these tablets, someone intelligent helped these Egyptians and Samaritans and helped them build and do the things that they did, was the person behind the tablets. We don't know. Like you said, we have zero idea who wrote said tablets. Again, how we know this is not... Look up old drawings of what they thought animals looks like. It'll blow your mind. We as humans, that we're gonna guess, and they all different types of drawings of animals. You can look at it and go, that looks like a snake. but it has legs.
But why in documentation one?
Who's calling it
But
documentation?
the fact that they're so it's lining up with a lot of things in the Bible. It's lining up with a lot,
Great
and
flood.
and they don't right now, as far as I know, because they haven't all been deciphered. They're still like looking into them to this day. So as far as I'm aware, there has been no names put in this. There's just people, and those same people line up with Moses, with Noah, with everybody. It lines up with everybody in the Bible. So as of now, that's what it looks like.
Right.
But if it's lining up with that, that would, in those exact same tablets, would be documentation, because we know that it happened, and now we have another tablet writing down the exact same thing. So what's stopping you from saying this tablet right here is fake, or this one right here is real, and then the very next tablet, well, that's fake? How do you know? You know what I mean?
I do.
You know what I mean?
I do. I think ultimately.
Because I'm not going to say either of them are wrong, because it does. It lines up with the Bible exactly. But then that very next tablet also lines up with, hey, that looks like a spaceship. So what's stopping this one from being right, and then the exact same next one wrote by the same person who just seen a real event happen and document it, and then, well, how do we know he didn't just happen to see this? Because we know the universe is very big.
It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Superman.
It's
right?
Superman, right.
Same thing. They might have looked up and like, what? Oh my, what is that? What's a freaking? I gotta draw this.
They can tell the difference. They're not that stupid. You can tell the difference in a bird. They can tell the difference in a bird. You get what I'm getting at, though?
I do, and I'm very happy that we have Genesis to look back on. I think ultimately we will continue to scratch our heads, and so
We're never gonna know.
So will people 3,000 years from now. If there's a chip implant, they're gonna think, what, they had the technology to plant this in their head and they didn't. Why? And they're
Well, 'cause
gonna
it
make
hasn't been
theories,
tested.
and they're gonna make theories. And they're gonna go, well, they didn't. What about this? What that? There's gonna be a black man and a white guy
Well, see,
sit down on
it's-
the podcast and talk about
Well,
it.
see, it's different now because, and maybe not 3,000 years, but in a few hundred years, 500 years, maybe even 1,000 years, this ain't going nowhere. So they're still going to be able to somehow look up and just come
I
across.
disagree with you there.
They could just come across it
I disagree with you there.
because it's not going to go nowhere
How do we?
unless
know it's not going
YouTube,
to?
because it's always going to be on set internet, and internet's all going to be the same if NASA is still the ones shooting up.
But it's tied to something. The cloud is tied to some type of server.
Right, and
if
as
said
far
server ever burns down, all internet
the
footage,
odds of that happening are very low.
but never zero.
Never zero. You're right. But okay.
Like
Still,
a great flood or a
now
ball of fire.
we have better documentation than boop boop boop. Does that look like you? No. Let me boop. Than hitting tablets.
No, we've
So
grown.
you can always look back in 200 years and see, like we can look back and see the Declaration of Independence, when, like, the real one. You can look at that. So in 500 years, you can look back and be like, oh, that declassified document right there, that shows that, because eventually JFK's assassination is going to get actually put out. And
It was
they're
a
gonna be
dropper, but yeah.
yeah, because, yeah, okay. But in 500 years, they will have better opportunity. It might be harder to find in 500 years,
Right.
but not as hard as, oh, let's look back 1,000 years from now where they had nothing. Or did they? That's what I'm
That's the
asking.
question.
That's the question. Because we can look, in 500 years, we can look back and be like, yeah, they had that. That's why we have an iPhone 95, because iPhone's not going nowhere,
So we're dumb as humans, right?
I would say. Some
we
of
like
us.
we like to think that we are the smartest apex of apex
No.
predators.
No.
We like to think that. Because what we do is we go off of brain size to tell the intelligence.
Dolphins are
of
smarter
things.
than us.
And their brains are smaller. But us as humans, we go, hey, it's the size of your brain that makes you smarter. So we're going to base our intelligence off of the size. When we go and talk about mammals and other types of animals, we're going to base how intelligent we think they are by the size of their brain, right? So us looking back at the Egyptians' time is going, hey, they had to have been smarter than that. They had to have been smarter to do these things. You add in a lot of coinky dinks when you go thousands of years later and look at it through a 2020 lens and go, that clearly is a spaceship. But to them, it could have been something different.
But like, there's one of the 7 wonders is in Jordan. I don't know what it is, but the thing on the side of the mountain.
Mount Rushmore?
No, not Mount Rushmore. It's in Jordan. It's like, it looks like a castle of some
Okay.
sorts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Look it up. Jordan Castle. I don't know. It's a desert thing. It was in Aladdin.
What?
The castle thing. It's in the desert of Jordan. I don't know what it's called. I almost said the Taj Mahal, but that's not what it is. It looks like a castle, but it's in the side of a mountain. It's like, you know what I'm...
The thing that
It is in
opened
Aladdin.
and it opened its
No. The thing I'm talking about is in Aladdin. It's not really used. It's just in the background because that's where they are supposed to be, is in Jordan.
You're talking about this? It's not in the side of the mountain, but
Is that it? I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining something else. But yeah, the Jordan Castle. That's another, like...
yeah, but when was it built? Is it a temple?
It was very long ago, though. That's why it's a 7 wonder of the world. Just,
They have online courses.
I think Calhoun does have online courses.
They do.
They do.
Good college as well.
You went there?
I didn't.
I have
a
heard that
lot of
Calhoun's really
great
good.
things about Calhoun. It's a community college. It's
It's better than Northwest Shoals.
it is. I've heard a lot. I've had a lot of my friends go to Calhoun's.
We're about done. Because we have been rambling. It's been very interesting.
But you shut your mouth.
But
That's the
hold on. Like the Easter Island heads, or the Stonehenge. Those are 2 very famous ones. Why? First off, why were they built?
That's a good question.
Second, who carved those? But why? And making one of them, whatever. It's very like Mona Lisa, sure, interesting. But
There's a
why did they make
place-
so many of them?
There's a place down south.
And hold on, I'm not done. I'm not
I'm
worried
about to
about.
debunk everything you're gonna say.
It's over.
There's a place down south,
Uh huh.
and inside of the Bay Area, there is a naked woman. There is a huge sculpture of a woman sitting like this. It's a fully armed. I'm talking about this thing is massive.
Well, that's how sculpting was, because there's a bunch of carvings of giant men that are naked, giant women. That's just how they sculpted.
I think the same thing for Easter Island. Stonehenges. These are just
But-
things that
but-
they wanted to. If you had a clear view of the world like they did, you would want to create.
The question though, is Stonehenge. How, because there's a tale of Stonehenge, whether now odds of it being true are very low, but never zero. Is Merlin helped build Stonehenge, and Merlin
fuck
was
is Merlin?
he was a wizard, who also was under a king, and the king there is hold on. Hear me out. Actually, hear me out. Actually,
I'm gonna let you cook.
but there's I don't remember which king. I'll talk about it in the next episode at the beginning just to clear my. But there was a king who hired Merlin to work for him and like turned the bottom of his castle into like gold, and that was documented. Now whether it was true or not, it's a question, but it is documented. So there was a guy named Merlin that everybody thought was a wizard, who was said to have helped build Stonehenge, because Stonehenge is extremely heavy. So how did they pick him up likewise without something breaking?
A pulley system.
Right, but not that long ago, because Merlin's a wizard, so he was old when he started working for the king. Stonehenge was a long time
When
ago.
you think of a pulley, what do you think of?
Well, you can do something like this, and it'll pull it up.
Or you think of a modern day pulley?
What
If
the
I were
hell
to
are you
take-
talking
If I
about?
were to take a rope, throw it across this table, and tie a shoe to it, and pull.
That's what I just said.
No, you said something about a circle and doing this.
No, they tie it around the thing and they pull it up. It goes up. Yeah, it cut off.
Yeah, we're done here.
But I don't know. There's just a lot of things where there's a lot of evidence that that ancient civilizations could have been more advanced than what we're told.
Now I will say this: God was heavily involved as far as like reaching out to people, and I think what we think and could be a great possibility of what we believe, or some people believe in the Anunnaki coming in, or even alien civilizations coming in and helping the Egyptians. With Moses being alive during that time and God talking to him through a burning bush, God giving him a tablet of 10 Commandments that you can go, that they're there, that they're real.
Yeah.
I believe, who's to say he didn't dip his fingers in?
But that's what I'm saying. It's how do we know? How do we know that these? Because as we are told now, the smartest people that long ago was Egyptians, and they're not as smart as us.
So what? Well, my question
So
is,
why are we saying just because they lived that long ago that they weren't smart? They built the pyramids. They built the Sphinx. They had full things. They had to carve out gold coffins for these pharaohs. So why are we acting like they were stupid?
what's the relevancy?
What do you mean? Like, how relevant was that in the time?
We
don't know.
What would it be relevant to us in nowadays age if we got the answer we were looking for? If someone came down and they said, hey, I'm a time traveler from Egypt, I time to the future so I can tell y'all how we did everything.
Next
Here's
episode's
how
going to
we
be a
done it."
doozy. I got some things about time travel. That's
Well, we're
crazy.
done.
But hold on.
We're done.
No.
We're done.
You asked me a question.
We're done.
You asked me a question, and then you're just going to end it?
It's rhetorical.
No. I'm going to answer this question, then we can be done.
Sam, don't you dare put your hands on.
Right.
You didn't have
Because
to
I
do
was
that.
speaking into a microphone that they could clearly see was on the other side of the
They can't
table.
clearly see nothing 'cause you
They
cut the
did,
camera
though.
off.
I didn't cut it off. It cut off on its own because I didn't charge the batteries.
Unprepared. Go ahead. Answer my question.
But if we did, that would lead more questions because science isn't about finding answers. Science is about... I had the nerdiest voice when I said about. But science isn't about finding answers. It's about learning more. And learning more isn't... If you get the answer to every question, it's going to stop at some point.
It's not true.
Yes, it is.
Take a math problem.
Okay.
If I overthink my math problem, I'm going to get the answer wrong. Why? Because I'm overworking it.
No.
So although I do agree with you that science is not based off of theories and this, but
A
it's solely
scientist-
backed up by wanting to know more, you can overthink the more that you're wanting to know about.
You can, but what I'm saying is if they found out, say tomorrow, that, oh no, we have 130,000% proof that the Egyptians had telephones. They had these things. They had what we have now, but better. That'll lead more questions. Well, where did it go?
The Great
Why
Flood.
did it leave? Well, not all scientists are going to say that, so it's going to lead to more
Well,
questions.
scientists are stupid.
They-
They need to read.
They might be.
If they're scientists and they believe in evidence,
But if there's evidence about it after the flood, they're going to want to know, well, where did it go? Why is it not here? Just like Atlantis, they want to know, well, if it's real, where did it go? Why is it not here? So they're still looking into...
where are CD players? Where
no,
are
they're
pagers?
irrelevant. But what I'm saying,
Because
they're irrelevant. We have better. But what I'm saying, you're not listening to me.
I'm not.
But what I'm saying is if they were to come back and say, well, if they were smart enough to have a phone close to ours, or even a TV, because TVs at the time were very advanced
They
for
were.
us. So if there's 100% evidence that there was a TV, well, what else did they make? How far along did they go before everything got lost? So
I just don't
how
think they were
smart?
that far along.
But we don't know.
They worship multiple gods for crying out loud.
There's multiple people that worship multiple gods that are
Still to
pretty-
this day,
Yeah,
crazy.
but some of them are smart. Now, not in some terms,
Still be
but
smart
some
and
of them,
crazy. Isaac
That's what I'm
Newton was
saying.
smart until they figured out he was wrong.
he's not all. He wasn't wrong.
Aristotle was right until they figured out he was wrong.
He wasn't wrong about everything though.
Wrong about one thing.
Okay, but what I'm
Because he
saying,
overthought his equation.
But what I'm saying, yeah, they worship multiple gods. That means absolutely nothing to anybody if they had an iPhone 7 sitting in their hand.
So why do they be so consumed with gold?
That was their currency.
Gold.
Might be.
It was their currency.
So that's why it would be relevant, because if you see that, then you're like, oh, if they made that, what else did they make? What could
That's
okay?
never happened in human history.
What could we learn from them?
But that's never happened in human history.
But it could.
No.
It could.
I don't think people 1,000 years from now are gonna look back and go, they had iPhones. Where did they go? Well, they're gonna know.
There's classified
After
documents.
1,000 years, we learned how to implant this into our head. They were idiots for carrying around this that they had to charge all the time and carry in their pockets and tippity type on. They were stupid.
Have we had a great flood though? Right now,
We're,
are we gonna lose everything before?
Well, that
100
goes
years.
back biblically. God promised and gave us a rainbow of a covenant that He would not flood the earth anymore.
And the sun isn't gonna blow up in a ball of fire until 3 billion years.
On humans' time.
Okay.
Thank you much. Now it still ends in a ball of fire. So you still have science and religion going, wow, lining up.
That might be next episode, actually.
I'm telling you, man, we get on Jesus science episode, it's gonna be a good one.
But
I'm gonna have a Bible out ready to go too.
But there was a
But nothing.
okay,
I
right.
have to pee.
If you didn't enjoy the episode, then you should
Quit the
quit the
cap,
cap.
actually.
Actually.